The WNBA commissioner is reportedly raging over a Caitlin Clark commercial. Not a scandal, not a controversy, a commercial. Let that sink in for 3 seconds. While every other professional sports league in America will be popping champagne when their star lands a major brand deal, the WNBA leadership is allegedly having a meltdown behind closed doors. And Stephen A. Smith just confirmed what we've all been thinking. This league might actually be trying to destroy its own golden goose. Here's the reality nobody wants to say out loud. The WNBA spent 27 years begging for attention, begging for sponsors, begging for anyone to care. Then Caitlin Clark shows up and delivers everything they ever wanted on a silver platter. Ratings through the roof, sold out arenas, global brand deals. And instead of gratitude, we're hearing about rage from the commissioner's office. How does that make any sense? Unless this was never actually about growing the game. Unless this was always about control. And when one player becomes bigger than the system, when one rookie bypasses a hierarchy entirely, the people at the top lose their minds. Stephen A. didn't just hint at this, he exposed it. He connected the dots between boardroom resentment and on-court violence, between executive jealousy and the toxic environment Caitlin's been dealing with all season. This isn't just drama anymore. This is a power struggle that could destroy the entire league from the inside out. So let me ask you something. When your biggest star lands a massive commercial deal, are you supposed to celebrate or throw a tantrum? Drop your answer in the comments because we need to talk about this. The commercial that allegedly set off this firestorm isn't just any ad. When Caitlin Clark appears in these spots, whether it's Wilson, Gatorade, or State Farm, she's not presented as just another WNBA player. She's presented as a cultural phenomenon, a singular force. The production value is elite. The framing positions her as the entire picture, not a piece of the puzzle. She looks powerful, independent, and most importantly, bigger than the league she plays in. For fans, this is incredible. This is the kind of content that makes you want to watch basketball. This is what star power looks like. But for Commissioner Kathy Engelbert and the WNBA old guard, this is allegedly a nightmare. Why? Because they didn't create this image. They didn't authorize it. And they absolutely cannot control it. When the commissioner sees Caitlin in these high-gloss productions, she's looking at a player who doesn't need the WNBA to survive. Caitlin has her own economy, her own orbit, her own gravity. The rage Stephen A. is talking about stems from a complete loss of leverage. Normally, a league controls its players because those players need the league for their paycheck and their platform. Caitlin Clark bypassed that dynamic on day one. She walked into the WNBA already more famous than 99% of the players who've ever touched the court. Insiders suggest the timing of this commercial is what really triggered the meltdown. The league has been desperately pushing a collective narrative all season. It's not just one player. Remember the history. Focus on all 143 players. They've been hammering this message nonstop. Then boom, this commercial drops and obliterates that entire narrative in 30 seconds. It reminds everyone watching that there is exactly one person driving the bus, and it's not the commissioner. It's the rookie from Iowa with the logo threes in the ponytail. The contrast is brutal. On one side, you have the WNBA's boring, low-budget marketing that feels like it was designed in 2008. On the other side, you have Caitlin's premium brand partnerships that look like Super Bowl commercials. That gap is embarrassing for the leadership, and embarrassment always turns into anger. But here's where it gets darker. Stephen A. Smith has been the loudest voice defending Caitlin all season. But his recent comments took a serious turn. He's not just analyzing basketball anymore. He's analyzing the psychology of the executives running this league. And what he's describing is straight-up resentment coming from headquarters. Think about the absurdity here. You have a commissioner who's supposed to be a business expert, someone brought in specifically to grow the enterprise, yet she's allegedly acting emotionally compromised because one player is getting too much attention. Stephen A.'s argument cuts deep. He says the rage is actually covering up incompetence. Every time Caitlin lands a massive deal or stars in a viral commercial, it exposes what the WNBA failed to accomplish for nearly 3 decades. It's a mirror held up to their inability to market the game. If you're Kathy Engelbert and you're watching Gatorade do a better job promoting your sport than you are, that's got to sting. That's an ego wound that doesn't heal. Stephen A. didn't hold back. He suggested the leadership is taking this personally. They feel exposed. And here's the connection that should terrify everyone. This anger from the top enables the toxicity we see everywhere else in the league. If the commissioner is rolling her eyes at Caitlyn's commercial success, why wouldn't opposing players feel justified taking cheap shots on the court? It's a trickle-down effect of jealousy. Leadership sets the tone. And if the tone from the top is resentment, that poison spreads to the entire ecosystem. Stephen basically accused the league of wanting Caitlyn to fail, or at minimum wanting her humbled, so they can regain control of the narrative. But here's the problem with that strategy. That ship already sailed. The commercial proved what matters. The world is watching Caitlin Clark, not Kathy Engelbert, not the WNBA Shield. Caitlin, and no amount of rage is going to change that reality. To really understand this meltdown, you need context. For years, the WNBA has been run by a specific group with a specific ideology. They view the league as a cause, a movement, a collective struggle for recognition. Everyone rises together. Nobody stands out too much. It's very kumbaya. Then Caitlin Clark shows up representing pure capitalism and individual superstardom. She doesn't fit their mold. She disrupts the hierarchy they carefully constructed, and disruption makes people defensive. The commercial highlights this clash perfectly. It shows Caitlyn as a singular force, separated from the pack, elevated above the rest. The WNBA leadership spent decades convincing people the product is the league itself. Buy the Shield, support the institution. Caitlyn's brand partners don't sell the league, they sell her. This fundamental disagreement is causing the friction we're seeing. The old guard feels disrespected. They feel like all the groundwork they laid is being ignored because some girl from Iowa can shoot from a logo. Stephen A. pointed out this is the same energy behind the Olympic roster snub. Leaving Caitlyn off Team USA was the old guard protecting their hierarchy, making a statement. You have to wait your turn. You have to pay your dues. But commercial brands don't care about waiting your turn. Brands pay for relevance right now. Today, the second, and that's the disconnect tearing the league apart. You have a slow-moving, seniority-based front office colliding with a fast-moving, merit-based advertising world. The commissioner is stuck in the middle, and instead of adapting, she's reportedly getting angry. Let's talk money, because ultimately professional sports is business. Or it's supposed to be. Stephen A. Smith has repeatedly called out the WNBA for committing business malpractice. And this commercial rage is Exhibit A. In a normal league, the NBA, the NFL, when a player lands a national commercial, the commissioner celebrates. Why? Because it raises the value of the entire operation. Casual fans tune in. Jersey sales spike. Ticket prices increase. A rising tide lifts all boats. So, why is the WNBA leadership allegedly furious? Because they're not getting credit for Caitlyn's success. Her off-court earnings dwarf her WNBA salary, and that makes the league look cheap and unprofessional. When casual fans see Caitlyn in million-dollar ad campaigns, then find out the WNBA pays her roughly $76,000 as a rookie, it creates a public relations disaster. It highlights the wage gap, the lack of revenue sharing, the entire broken economic model. Commissioner Engelbert knows this. She knows every high-profile commercial Caitlyn shoots reminds the public that the WNBA doesn't compensate its stars properly. It invites scrutiny. People start asking uncomfortable questions. If this girl is generating millions in value, why is the league so broke? Why aren't the players getting paid? Instead of fixing the revenue model, the leadership allegedly gets defensive. Stephen A. argues they'd rather, if the commissioner is perceived as an obstacle to this growth, if she's seen as petty about commercials instead of capitalizing on them, her job security evaporates. The rage might actually be fear. Fear that she's being exposed as a wrong leader for this new era. Caitlyn represents exponential growth. Engelbert can't keep up. The commercial symbolizes that speed. It's slick, global, instantly appealing.